Let's talk about the Pomodoro mistake no one ever brings up. Chapter 1. It all starts with good intentions. You feel distracted. Your to-do list looks like the Dead Sea Scrolls. Your brain feels like scrambled eggs. So you Google how to focus and suddenly there it is. The Pomodoro technique. Just set a timer for 25 minutes and don't stop working. Simple, structured, scientific. You feel like you've found the holy grail of productivity. So you try it, and at first it's amazing. You're suddenly aware of time, you're racing the clock, and your brain is like, oh, we're doing stuff now. You knock out a few tasks and feel like Elon Musk until you hit that first 5-minute break, and that's where things start to unravel. Chapter 2. Let's talk about what no one mentions, the mental whiplash. That 5-minute break seems innocent, but it's not a break. It's a trap disguised as rest. It whispers, just check your phone for a minute. Next thing you know, you're watching a raccoon wash cotton candy in slow motion and wondering if raccoons have emotions. Spoiler, they do. They're just better at managing them than most humans. Then your timer dings. Time to get back to work. Except now your focus is toast. You're mentally still with the raccoon, emotionally invested in his sadness, and also wondering why cotton candy dissolves in water. You're not working, you're Googling raccoon metabolism at 10 a.m. The break derailed you. Chapter 3. Now let's go deeper, because this isn't just about distractions. The real issue with Pomodoro is that it teaches your brain to fear time. You stop thinking about what you're working on and start obsessing over how long you've been working. The focus isn't flow, it's a countdown. You're not absorbed in the task. You're just waiting for the buzzer to save you. Imagine telling a painter, hey, paint your masterpiece, but only for 25 minutes. Then stop. Immediately. Even if you're inspired. You'd ruin the art, but we do this to ourselves, over and over. We interrupt deep work because the clock told us to. And somehow we expect that to make us more focused. It's like trying to sleep with an alarm going off every 5 minutes and calling it a nap. Chapter 4. Let's talk about deep work for a second. True focus, real, high-quality focus, doesn't kick in during the first 25 minutes. It builds, it compounds. It starts to get good around minute 30 and hits its peak around minute 60 or 90, depending on what you're doing. The Pomodoro technique doesn't help you get there. It pulls you out just before the magic happens. It's like heating up your oven for a pizza, then turning it off when it gets to 180 degrees. Congratulations, you've made lukewarm cardboard. What you really need is uninterrupted time. But uninterrupted time is uncomfortable. That's why Pomodoro feels so good. It gives you structure, but it also gives you a way out. A 25-minute commitment feels easy. You don't have to confront the resistance. You don't have to push through boredom. You just wait for the ding and reward yourself with dopamine. That's not training your brain to focus. That's training it to avoid discomfort. Chapter 5. Now, here's where it gets a bit existential. You're not a robot. You're not built to operate in fixed blocks of time like a machine. You're a weird, emotional, inconsistent human being who sometimes writes a paragraph in 4 hours and other times writes an essay in 10 minutes. Productivity isn't linear. Creativity isn't linear. Energy isn't linear. So why are we trying to force it into a linear structure? It's like trying to fit the ocean into a cup. Sure, you'll capture a bit of water, but you'll miss the whole wave. What if, instead of timing your focus, you followed it? What if, instead of stopping when the timer tells you to, you stopped when you naturally felt complete? What if we stopped outsourcing our attention to apps and started listening to the rhythm of our own mind? Chapter 6. But here's the irony. The Pomodoro technique was never meant to be a productivity religion. Francesco Cirillo invented it as a college student in the late 1980s with a tomato-shaped kitchen timer and one goal: to help himself stop procrastinating. That's it. He wasn't trying to invent a cult. He wasn't trying to become the president of productivity. He just wanted to write his essays without crying into his espresso. But somewhere along the way, we turned it into gospel. A one-size-fits-all solution, a badge of honor. I did 12 Pomodoros today, bro. Cool. Did you actually finish anything? Or did you just count tomatoes? Chapter 7. Let me be clear. Pomodoro isn't bad. If you're new to focus, if your brain feels like a browser with 147 tabs open, if you need a gentle on-ramp to start building discipline, it's actually great. Structure helps. especially when you're dealing with resistance, procrastination, or executive dysfunction. But it's a tool, not a cage. If you're using Pomodoro and constantly interrupting deep work, getting anxious about timers, and never hitting flow, then the technique isn't helping you anymore, it's holding you back. It's like training wheels on a bike. At some point, you've got to take them off. Otherwise, you're just the adult riding around with plastic wheels wondering why you can't go faster. Chapter 8. So what should you do instead? Well, here's the part no one tells you. Focus isn't something you time. It's something you build, and it starts with attention. Try this for a week. Instead of using Pomodoro, block off 90 minutes. No breaks, no timers. Just sit down and do one thing. Follow the work. Let your brain settle. Notice when it gets uncomfortable. Notice when it gets interesting. Notice when you want to quit and don't. You'll hate it at first. Your brain will scream. You'll want to check your phone, email, laundry, even your neighbor's dog's horoscope. But if you can sit through the discomfort, something changes. Your brain gets quieter, your focus deepens, and suddenly you're in the zone. That's the good stuff. That's where the work happens. Chapter 9. Also, stop trying to optimize every second. Sometimes we treat productivity like a game of Tetris, trying to cram every block of time with some kind of measurable task. But you're not a factory. You're not supposed to be optimized 24/7. Some of your best ideas will come when you're doing nothing. Einstein got his big ideas while daydreaming. Newton discovered gravity while literally sitting under a tree. You're not going to change the world because of a 5-minute break timer, but you might if you let your brain wander long enough without judging it. So give yourself real breaks, not dopamine hits, not YouTube shorts. I mean staring at a wall. Taking a walk, breathing, boring, beautiful nothingness. Sometimes not doing is exactly what helps you do better. Chapter 10. If Pomodoro works for you, use it. Seriously. Some days I still use it when I'm overwhelmed or procrastinating hard. There's no shame in that. But if you've been using Pomodoro for months and you still feel stuck, if you still can't focus deeply, if your work feels fragmented and your brain feels like a microwave turning on and off every half hour, then maybe the problem isn't your discipline. Maybe it's the system. Maybe it's time to stop counting tomatoes and start creating momentum. Because focus isn't built in 25-minute blocks. It's built in flow, not in fear of the timer. So next time someone says, just do a Pomodoro, smile politely, then do what actually works for your brain.